All right. All right, all right. I believe we are going. Here we go. Hey, good morning. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo, with yet another episode of Red Stone Lapis Lazuli. Oh man, I'm still doing this. It's amazing. All right, here we go. Here's the test. Here's the test. Will it work? Will it crash? Will it work? Oh! Boom. It goes down again, like every time. Like every time now. Every time. Every time it goes down. It's almost like, why even do a start if you're gonna crash in the beginning every time? Like I would use the AMD broadcasting software because it's lighter weight than OBS. However, I can't get it to work. It just doesn't work. It doesn't want to work. So I'm like, well, what do I do? It's not working. It doesn't work. So in the meantime, I'm gonna do this fancy thing. Check it out. I'm gonna do this. Let's see. It's video setting, shader packs, disable, apply, done, done, done. Jump in. It'll work without crashing. It'll work without crashing. It'll work without crashing. Okay, and then I'm gonna apply the fancy shaders now. Enable. That makes it all pretty. Oh, so pretty. Look at those colored lighting. Look at that colored lighting. Look at those sharp shadows. Like, it just feels better, right? It just feels better. It just feels nice. Oh, look at those frames per second up in the corner. I gotta hide that shit. Options. Options, video settings, extras. All right. The reason why I have such low frames per second right now is because, I mean, it's only at 60. It's barely at 60 frames per second. And you're like, man, how is it possible that you only have 60 frames per second in Minecraft with shaders? And I'm telling you, it's because OBS takes at least half those frames. No joke. I'm actually running at like 120 frames per second or faster. But because I'm running OBS, it takes half those frames for itself, and I don't even get to see them. I have to run this instead. I have to play Minecraft instead, and it only gets half the frames it would normally get. So that's okay though, right? That's just the way it is. Black Lives Matter. That's right. Normalize it. So yeah, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to my show. Back once again. Back once again. Okay. What have I built in this world? Well, pretty much nothing. I don't really play Minecraft so much anymore. Some things have happened, right? They upgraded. They did a they updated or upgraded Minecraft to 1.20.2, and that broke a lot of stuff. I had to get a lot of mods again, and some of them didn't work. And then I had to review which ones did work, and then I found out I had a lot of mods I didn't really need. Well, I don't have the zoom mod, and that bugs me because I really like having that zoom mod, and I have to use the spyglass instead. But a lot of the what do they call it? Optimization mods didn't really do much to optimize. It didn't do anything to optimize. It's like, why do I even have this if it's not actually going to optimize my stuff? But yeah, here we are. You know what I like? I like Seiyu shaders. These are great in the daytime. In the daytime, it is great. Not so good at nighttime or underground, but in the daytime, it's super nice. They're like, because I have a shadow. Ah! So this is my little mob farm. The mobs spawn from up high. In the dark, up there. They spawn up there in the dark, and then they fall into a water stream in the middle, and then the water stream carries them to the hole, where they drop exactly 23 blocks, which leaves them with 1 hit point, unless they're wearing armor. If they wear armor, they have more hit points, because the armor absorbs some of it. But if they're not wearing armor, they have 1 hit point, so anything will kill them. I can hit them with like my fist, and it will kill them. Oh, okay, almost. Okay, maybe 2 hits, but doesn't matter. I'm using a looting 3 sword for maximum drops, because I want to kill all those creepers and get their drops. See, if it's not a bone or gunpowder, it will drop into the cactus. But if it is, I will catch it and keep it, and then I will turn them into with paper. I would turn them into rockets, and I'm almost out here. As you can see, almost out of rockets. So I'm gonna have to do this pretty soon. And why do you need rockets? Because that allows me to fly. Fly, fly, fly. Fly in the air. So yeah, it's pretty good. And it's fun to build something in Minecraft and then fly through it, fly around it, and see it in multiple perspectives. It's pretty neat. See things in multiple perspectives. For example, da-da-da, the pagoda. Choppy for me, but it might be smooth in OBS. Ugh. No, don't land here. There we go. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. Oh! Nice landing. Ooh, pretty. Actually, it's kind of terrible frames per second for me, but I think it's looking good on OBS. So yeah, nice. Nice. Okay. Crap. Clip the leaves there. Let's hang out at the village. A village. So yeah. So far Ukraine is doing pretty good on its counteroffensive. I know the media wants to see like dramatic changes and big explosions and stories of massive victory. Those stories are to come. They're not quite here yet. But just because they're not here yet doesn't mean Ukraine isn't advancing and doing what it needs to do in order to achieve victory. And what is victory? Victory is the return of all Ukrainian territory and people back to Ukraine. Because remember, Russia isn't just taking land. Russia is also taking humans. How my nose itches. Russia's also taking humans. In the city, like children, they take children away from their parents, send them to Russia, and then like brainwash them into being Russian. So that sucks. So victory is not only getting back your land, but getting back your people who have been kidnapped by Russia to be slaves in Russia, or just killed. You know, you can't get back the people that Russia murdered. So, anyways, they have a different strategy than the storytellers. The storytellers want something dramatic and big to tell big stories on, so they can sell newspapers. But the realities of war are kind of mundane. The realities of war, a lot of it is hurry up and wait. a lot of war is hurry up and wait, and a lot of war is not glorified and dramatic and pretty, and like, because what the West wants, or what the storytellers want, is like a big breakthrough with massive wins and everything else. And what Ukraine is doing is the slow slog of attrition warfare, where you slowly whittle down your opponent. And what Ukraine is doing then is hitting not the troops themselves, the Russian troops themselves, not so much, but hitting their logistics, hitting their supply depots, hitting their repair facilities, hitting the things that Russia needs in order to continue its invasion. However, I think yesterday, Ukraine hit a Russian dry dock and took out a submarine, and then they hit Russian facilities in Crimea and took out like a general and a bunch of ships and a bunch of people. So Ukraine is advancing. It's making its moves. It's just slower than what the storytellers want. And oh well, sorry storytellers. But the way it is the way it is. That doesn't change. Okay, so there's Ukraine. So I guess there was a recent poll put out by some newspaper, or maybe it was ABC. I don't know, but the poll was an outlier. In other words, the poll was done in such a way that it totally skewed what was really going on. It wasn't real at all. Let me get more coffee. Instead, so it's not a real poll. It's not a very good poll. It's not valid. It doesn't actually show an aspect of reality that we didn't know before. Instead, again, it serves the storytellers. It serves the people who want a good story to sell newspapers or sell advertisements. Because the media needs a horse race. They need it to be real close between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It doesn't matter how bad is Donald Trump. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how evil. They have to make it look close in order to sell newspapers, to keep people interested in their news stories. So they'll put up bunk information in order to keep people's brains tuned into that kind of like, oh, it's so close. And it's promoted by Donald Trump himself. He wants people to believe that it's close. He wants people to believe that Joe Biden is vulnerable. He wants people to think that Donald Trump has a chance at winning the presidency again. Dude, Donald Trump shouldn't even be able to run. He should be disqualified under the Constitution. He's tried to wage war against the United. He did. He waged war against the United States. He's literally disqualified by the Constitution itself. And there's a bunch of states who are suing to make sure that he doesn't appear on their ballots. But here, Empty Wheel. Empty Wheel is fantastic. She's an independent journalist. She's an American, but either her husband or she has like dual citizenship with Ireland and therefore the EU. And a while ago, she moved out of the United States over to Ireland. I don't know why, if it was for her safety or what. Doesn't matter. That's what she did. Ooh, look at it get dark, dude. Ooh, scary. But yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, it makes me want to go to sleep. See, these lights don't work, and they should work. But it's the shader I'm using is very old. If I use a newer shader, suddenly it's amazing. You see what I mean? Like, oh. Yeah. Let me try another video setting. Adaptive. Yeah, that's a lot better for me. What was I saying? Back into this corner here. Moo cow. Okay. Empty Wheel's great. She's great. So even though she lives in Ireland, she continues to report on things going on in the United States. Because what goes on in the U.S. presidential election doesn't just concern the United States. It concerns the whole world. It concerns the EU in particular. Remember what Donald Trump did when he was president? He tried to break up NATO. He said he was going to withdraw the United States from NATO. He said he was going to break it up. He was mean to all our allies, and he was buddy-buddy with all our enemies. That's what Donald Trump did. So the EU is also watching the United States election very, very closely because it matters who wins. If Donald Trump wins, that's a huge win for the fascists and for Russia. That's a huge win. And for China. Pretty much all the authoritarians around the world are cheering for Donald Trump, the authoritarians. And all the democracies are pushing for Joe Biden. So here's Empty Wheel, an American living in Ireland. And she notes this bad frame that U.S. media is making. Because remember, the U.S. media is trying to create a horse race between Joe Biden and Donald Trump by saying they're equivalent, even though they're not. They're not at all equivalent. Donald Trump is an indicted criminal and a traitor. Joe Biden is like a time-tested politician who served the United States for decades, and we have video evidence of it. We have proof of it. Is he perfect? No. No, he's not perfect. Joe Biden? No, of course not. But he's miles better than Donald Trump, who is literally a criminal, literally a traitor. Literally. I mean, I'm not being hyperbolic here. I'm not being exaggerating. I mean, Donald Trump is literally a traitor to the United States. He's a traitor. Do you understand that? I mean, he tried to overthrow the United States government, and he worked with our enemies to overthrow the government here, overthrow our democracy. Do you understand what it is to be a traitor? So, anyways, Empty Wheel. Okay. So remember, for Republicans who are fascists, who are Confederates, who are Nazis, their primary enemy is the truth. The truth will destroy them. The truth destroys Republicans. It destroys Nazis. It destroys Confederates. It destroys, fascists. So what they wanted. So to that end, the way that Nazis and Confederates and racists fight against truth, the way they fight against truth is they use a technique called false equivalence. What is false equivalence? False equivalence is when it's a fallacy, a wrong. It's a wrongness. it's broken logic. It's logic that if you use it, you're gonna have broken conclusions. They're just broken. It's all broken. If you use this, then your idea is broken. It's like using redstone in Minecraft. If you use redstone incorrectly, it won't work. It just won't work. It just doesn't work. So a fallacy is like a wrong thing in mind, like that you're trying to build. It's like using redstone incorrectly. So an example is false equivalence. That's an example of a fallacy. That is when you take two things that are not the same and then you say they are the same. Two things that are not the same, but you say they are the same. And then since they're the same, you can treat them the same way. Even though they're not the same thing. They're opposite things. That's a fallacy. Now, remember, for Republicans and for fascists, truth is the enemy. So even if it's like fallacies are okay for them, because a fallacy is not the truth, and and they can't handle the truth. They just need the wrong. So how they use this false equivalence fallacy, how they do it, I can show you an example. I mean, they use it all the time. They try to equivalate Proud Boys with Black Lives Matter all the time. They always try to do it. They try to equivalate Hunter Biden with Jared Kushner, but you can't do it. They're totally different. They try to equivalate Joe Biden to Donald Trump, but you can't do it. It's totally fake. It's totally wrong. It's broken. It's a fallacy. They're not the same. They're just not the same thing. But remember, Republicans don't care about what the truth is. They only care about power and the power that false equivalence gives them. So to that end, Republicans are using their tried and true method of weaponizing government in order to go after their political enemies. They did it with Bill Clinton. Remember Bill Clinton? Republicans started an impeachment inquiry, and appointed a special counsel to investigate Bill Clinton's 1973 Whitewater real estate deal. That was the purpose of their examination, of their investigation. At that time, Bill Clinton had not even met Monica Lewinsky. So there was literally no crime. When the Republicans started their investigation. There was literally no crime. Do you understand that? Literally no crime. There was nothing there when they started their investigation. There was nothing there when they started. They started the investigation to go look for something to impeach Clinton. So it wasn't like they wanted to protect justice. Instead, they wanted to get rid of their political opponent and looked for a way to do it. And the way they were going to do it is through the criminal justice system. And I established this already. This is already established in my last show when we reviewed the Clinton impeachment. And what was my source? It was Time magazine. It wasn't some crazy leftist publication. It wasn't some liberal publication. It was Time magazine. So I've already shown that Republicans the last time with Bill Clinton, they literally had they didn't find Monica Lewinsky until 5 years later, after Linda Tripp secretly recorded illegal. It should have been illegal, right? It's a one-party, I think that's illegal in most states, for one person to record the conversation but not inform the other person that they're being recorded. That's illegal. You can't do that in most states. I don't know why Linda Tripp got away with it, but she secretly recorded Monica Lewinsky talking about her affair with Bill Clinton. And 5 years after the Whitewater investigation started looking at a 1973 real estate deal, that ended up being nothing. There was no connection to the Clintons. There was nothing there. They never, ever found anything related to that. In other words, it was just a convenient excuse to go fishing for something. And they had to fish for 5 years before Bill Clinton did something that they could go after him for. I don't want to say that Bill Clinton's a good guy. It's wrong to use your position of power to extort sexual favors from people underneath you, from people who are subordinate to you. She was an intern. She was 20 something years old, dude. She was a kid. She had no idea. She had no idea what was going on. Bill Clinton had way more experience. No, you were married, dude. You were married. You're married. What the hell are you doing? So, yeah, you're right. All of this falls on Bill Clinton. You're right. You're right. I'm not saying he's a good guy at all. But what I am saying is that Republicans misused the government in order to go fishing for a crime just to remove their political opponent. They had to go looking for it. All right, the same thing. It's the same thing with Joe Biden. There is nothing, no crime at all. There's no crime, not even a whiff of crime. There's nothing there that Joe Biden has done that would warrant an impeachment. There's literally nothing there. Last show, I already went over the Hunter Biden thing by showing you the history of Ukraine. That's why Ukraine is such a big deal in the United States, to the United States, because it was like the plight of Ukraine, their fight for democracy, was hijacked by Donald Trump in order for Donald Trump to win the presidency in the United States. Remember, remember that, dude. Remember why we impeached him in the first place. He literally extorted Zelensky and told him, hey, I want you to start an investigation into Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to have anything behind it. I just need you don't even have to do it. All I need is the announcement. That's what he said in his fucking phone call with him. He extorted Zelensky in order to do this. That is something that's illegal, and you can impeach him for that. Did Joe Biden do anything similar? No, not at all. But the media is trying to create a close horse race in order to get you to believe that, oh, maybe they are equivalent. No, they're not equivalent. Then there's no way they're no way equivalent. Like, they tried for months and months and months to connect Hunter Biden to Joe Biden, and they can't do it. How many hearings have they had? Their own witnesses say that there's no connection between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Like, here, do I even have that? Who's that guy? Devon Archer? Here, did I save it? Maybe I saved it. Devon Archer. Archer. Let me try Archer. If I do the full name, I might not get it. Here. At the same time, I'll do it this way. Testimony, no connection. Joe Biden. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da da. Ba-da ba-da ba-ba ba-da ba ba-da ba-da ba-ba-ba-da. Oh, wait. Here, let me go like that and then do it again. Because you can't see the who about it. So, you see, Hunter Biden associate testifies he had no knowledge of wrongdoing by Joe Biden. Republicans released a 141-page transcript of Devon Archer's testimony on the same day former President Donald Trump was arraigned in Washington, D.C. So we learned that there was no connection, that Joe Biden, we learned from, remember the modus operandi of Republicans. They use, because they don't have truth on their side, they have to use insinuation. So they had Devon Archer behind their back and they had Devon Archer behind their back, and they said to the American people, oh, we have this guy who's going to testify and say and tell us all these connections between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and incriminate Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Just you wait. And then they finally had the meeting, right? But it wasn't open public meeting. No, this was a meeting behind closed doors. So that means the public couldn't hear right away what Devon Archer actually said, what he actually testified to. So what happened was there were two different stories that came out because two different representatives came out. The Republican representative came out and said, oh yeah, with Devon Archer's testimony, now we have evidence that connects Joe Biden to crime. We have it now. On the other side, we also had another guy, I think his name Goldman, who came out on the Democratic side and said, look, the guy said straight up, there's nothing connect. He saw no crime. There's no connection. He said straight up. Their own witness said it. But because it was behind closed doors, it was a he said thing. Who's telling the truth? We don't know. And they kept it. They hid that until something happened, which was the arraignment of Donald Trump, because that's big news, right? So they wanted to hide the fact that their own witness disproved their conspiracy theory. So they released the transcript at the same time Donald Trump was being arraigned and he was taking up all the oxygen in the media sphere. They did it on purpose because they don't want you to know that they're full of shit. They're full of shit. Literally, their own witness tells them they're full of shit. So we already know there's nothing there, right? We already know there's nothing there. But Republicans are counting. The Republicans need allies in the media to help them spread their message anyways. Right? They have to help, the media has to help them spread the false equivalence that Joe Biden is just as corrupt as Donald Trump, because that's how they're going to win. That's a Republican strategy. If you can, like, if the Republicans can connect Joe Biden with Donald Trump and say that they're equivalent in corruption, then it doesn't matter how bad is Donald Trump, because that just drags down Joe Biden too, because Republicans created this false connection between the false equivalence. So they're counting on the media helping them to create a false equivalence between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That way, no matter how far down Donald Trump goes, it will automatically drag down Joe Biden. Then they don't need to defend Donald Trump. You see what I mean? They need the help of the media. So they're counting on the media, helping them amplify their false equivalence. And the one way they do it is with polling. They did the stupid, and then so the media has an incentive to create a horse race. Republicans have an incentive to create a false equivalence between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The Republicans have an incentive to create a false equivalence between Hunter Biden and Jared Kushner. And so the media, so these two things combine into like misinformation. So called out by Empty Wheel, who's awesome. So here we go. Here are the impeachment questions in that poll everyone is talking about. The poll literally makes up a false claim about what impeachment is about. The impeachment is about trying to find evidence that business deals that have not been shown to be illegal had some tie to Biden. They're just trying to make shit up. The polling is like literally feeding disinformation to the people. So let's take a closer look. What are the questions? Based on what you know, do you think Congress should or should not begin impeachment proceedings that could lead to Biden being removed from office? Based on what you know. Like, so if you don't know shit, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? Based on what you know, do you think Congress should or should not impeach Trump and remove him from office? But Trump is not in office. Oh, compared to. There we go. I see. Based on what you know, so they're creating a false connection. They're trying to say that what's going on with Donald Trump is equivalent to what's going on with Joe Biden, and they're not equivalent. Based on what you know, do you think Congress should or should not begin impeachment proceedings that could lead to Donald Trump being removed from office? Based on what you know, do you think Congress should or should not impeach Clinton and remove him from office? What? Where did Clinton come in from? Clinton is totally removed from what they're doing in so here you go. 18. The Republican Speaker of the House has initiated an inquiry into whether Joe Biden should be impeached because of an alleged involvement in his son's international business dealings. That's not true. That's not why Joe Biden was being impeached. He's not even being impeached yet. It's just the inquiry. They're just looking into. They don't even have a crime. They don't even have a crime. They're just looking. Remember, the Republicans are just fishing for something to go after. That's they're saying it's it's Hunter Biden's business dealings, but they have no way of, they don't have any kind of connection to it. Their own witnesses deny any kind of connection to it. So so they're looking. So the media is helping to create an impression that Joe Biden is just as corrupt as Donald Trump, because because having a close horse race will sell them newspapers. But it's dumb. It's just a distraction. It's not at all real. It hides from the fact that Republicans can't pass a budget, that they're going to shut down the government again. This is like the 6th time that the Republicans have shut down the government. It's always the Republicans. It's never the Democrats that shut down the government. It's always the Republicans. At least for the past 30 years. I think one time way back in Reagan. But how many of you were alive when Reagan was around? Old Mother Reagan and her crew took away from me and you. I wish she'd go far away. She better go far away. You know it ain't right when it's all wrong. See old Mother Reagan protest song. She's so dumb. She's so dangerous. How come she don't go far away? She better go far away. Old Mother Reagan went to what? How'd it go? Old Mother Reagan went to heaven. At the pearly gate, she was stopped. That I'm butchering a song by the Violent Femmes about Ronald Reagan. He's a bad guy. He was a super bad guy. He used charisma. He used his great charisma in order to pass fascist laws. And he was governor of California. That's what's so funny. Things change, dude. Times change. Okay. How do I even get started talking about Reagan? Oh yeah, the power of media, dude. Like, how did Reagan even get into office? Because Ronald Reagan, like Jimmy Carter's administration, had a deal with the Iranian regime to release the hostages. However, Ronald Reagan had a back channel to the Iranian government and told them, look, don't release the hostages until after the election, and Ronald Reagan will get you a better deal. So Iranians were like, okay, we'll do that. So the Iranians didn't follow through with their deal to release the hostages. So Jimmy Carter's administration had a defeat like that. Hey, what's up, TNT lover? I'm talking about the presidential election of 1980 in the United States, because